edition of Spence and Serg, the Spence and Serg Show. I'm Spence and he's Serg. We got a ton to talk to on today's show. First, we're going to talk about Sean Mannion, breaking news across the wire. I believe this is our 4th episode.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Can you believe how...
It's episode 6. We're going to scratch that.
Can you believe how fast the time's come? Like, I can't even believe, it felt like just yesterday, you know, we were talking about what this would even look like. And now here we are.
Exactly, and we're 6, and we're trying, and again, within a couple of episodes, I mean, there's some special things in the works. So
yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to overpromise, underdeliver.
Yeah.
So
I think that we'll leave it at that.
I'm not going to overpromise it. Let's get to the news that everybody wants to hear about, especially all the local fans in Philadelphia that are tuning in to the Spence and Serg Show. Sean Mannion, hired as the offensive coordinator today, 33 years old. Serg, you've looked into Sean Mannion. Go ahead and tell us about Sean Mannion and then maybe some initial thoughts about Sean Mannion.
Well, so Sean Mannion, you know, was originally drafted by the Rams. He bounced around the league. His most last stint was with that. They made it to the NFC
The
Championship.
Rams.
No, the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, okay.
Like 2019, 2020.
Case Keenum,
yeah.
like with this.
He was like the backup back
the
then.
Minneapolis Miracle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He wasn't exactly like, I think he only started like 2 full games in his whole career. I think his best season was he had like 139 yards, something like that. Like, it's not exactly the greatest from a player perspective in terms of NFL career, but it's something to be said about being around the league. There's a lot to be said about, you know, who has hired him and the coaching tree. He's branched off of like the Shanahan coaching tree is, I think, what everybody gives him credit for. Some people want to give it the LaFleur, whatever. But either way, quarterback's coach, kind of, you know, what are we doing as the Eagles in terms of like, you know, our biggest gripe was giving the keys to a Ferrari to somebody that's never driven before. Like, you are in a championship window. You have a small window of to hit or miss on these type of moves, whether like who controls your play calling, who controls your offensive schemes. When you have the most expensive offense in the NFL, I don't know if that would be who I would go with in terms of like just a resume standpoint. I don't know if he would be even qualified, but there is some things that we'll get into in a second. But I just, from just face value, like once I heard about it, that was my initial thoughts.
I understand. And I think that's what a lot of people are also saying. And for people out that are like Sean Mannion is going to be a home run hire, it's a pure guess. It's a pure guess. And then if he fails, we can point to these concerns of never driven the car. However, let's continue with this NASCAR analogy or this racing analogy. All the best drivers right now are head coaches in the NFL. Liam Cohen, Ben Johnson, Kellen Moore, LaFleur is a decent offensive coordinator. Even Mike McDaniel, I guess that he might be the best. So, especially on the offensive side of the ball, it's so hard to get a great offensive coordinator as somebody with that experience. It's very difficult. Now, I think the Eagles, you know, were interested in Brian Daboll. This job is very interesting. You have a lot of pressure, but you have great wide receivers, a championship quarterback, Saquon Barkley still an offensive line. However, the ownership in Jeffrey Lurie, he is a hands-on owner, we could say that, and same with Howie Roseman. So maybe that was trepidation about this hire. However, you look at this, and I'll ask you, okay, were there some retreads that you were not interested in? Like in using our driver analogy, maybe they've driven the car, but they're average drivers. They're not whipping it around like Jeff Gordon, and they're not terrific drivers. Like an example would be a Matt Nagy, who kind of failed a little bit in the Chiefs. Arthur Smith, who's kind of average, uses Geno Smith a lot, heavy run game, but not the sexiest thing. So would you rather have a retread that's a little safer? Where's your mind with that?
I mean, ultimately, who puts their name in a hat every year? Like, think about it. Like, if you were looking for a defensive coordinator, who would be the first person in your mind? Probably like a Bill Belichick, probably, but those guys aren't always available, right? So who they had available is somewhat of a question mark because of how many people were taking the interviews, how many people just completely declined in all. Like, I kind of thought, whether for better or worse, like you said, like a Brian Daboll type-esque, wasn't exactly the best driver, was one of those guys that, like, you always saw those clips of him, like, great offensive mind. He's always picking the minds of, like, these draft picks, like the infamous clip with him and Shador, and also transverse that with the clip with him and Jackson Dart. But, like,
Right.
you get confused in who's really attainable as, like, an everyday fan, but also even as, like, a social media creator or even just, like, one of those talking figures. Because at the end of the day, like, Jeffrey Lurie, like you said, he's a very hands-on, and, like, he wants his guy.
Yeah.
But what we've been seeing recently is the trend of Jeffrey picks it, Nick picks it, Jeffrey picks it, Nick picks it. That's pretty much what it's been. Like, Nick gets it wrong, Jeffrey and Howie lean him towards a certain way.
And correct it.
Yeah, correct it. So I'm kind of puzzled a little bit by, like you said, the drivers of the ship. So, like, people like Todd Monken didn't want him, right? I kind of also, although this is going to be...
You didn't want Todd Monken?
No, I didn't.
I thought he would be perfect.
I mean, based on his schemes that he's had in the past,
Because he
Saquon
can either be a run-centric offense with Lamar, or you can have him drop back like Stetson Bennett. So he showed some versatility.
Yeah, and also
where Brian Daboll, I think he would risk Jalen Hurts. Like, and I think I would have a lot of fun with that in terms of not only running. You're probably thinking of him running, but with Josh Allen, his first couple of years, he would throw the ball like 30 times.
Yeah.
Just to get Josh like revved up and ready to rock. Mm-hmm. And that's why that Titans offense is, Cam Ward's going to be, he's going to be spreading the ball everywhere. He's going to be spritzing it everywhere. He's going to be interceptions. That's like high risk, stubborn offensive coordinator.
You'd have to dive deep into all these guys. So while we're on the topic, why don't we just get right into Sean Mannion? Let's dive deep into him.
Yeah, let's go.
So if for those of you guys at home that probably want to know a little bit more about, the guy that's now going to be taking the reins of the Eagles offense, it's, again, a mixed bag. You're going to get people that are going to dislike him. You're going to get people that are going to really, really love him. Personally, I'll leave my opinion to the end.
Yeah, and then I'm going to give my opinion.
But there's some interesting statistics that jump out to you. Like we mentioned, he is part of that Shanahan tree. So motion is his name. Like, that's basically like the part of his offense that he does the best with. I think everybody can remember, Jaden Reed, all the different wide receivers that they've had, like not the biggest names, made it work.
Dobbs.
Yeah, Romeo Dobbs,
Reed,
what he did with Golden, that touchdown.
Kraft.
I mean, you can't deny his creativity. How much of that added also to, like, the LaFleur, Shanahan, like, passing it down type thing? Well, we don't know. But what we do know is that the Green Bay Packers last year, this is going to give every single Eagles fan a little bit of some, like, peace of mind here, but they ran hitches at the 31st rank. They were the second to last team in the league running hitches. And the Eagles were obviously first by a, 300 hitches ran difference. It's an extraordinary amount, to be honest with you. Actually, the Eagles ran so much more hitches than them that it's almost the exact same amount that Green Bay ran, doubled. And we still ran more than them, pretty much. And then on top of that, you have some little bit of, like, statistical backing in that under him, Jordan Love was able to throw for 4,200 yards. They were able to have, like, a incredible success on first down. They had around 52 to 54% first down conversion on early downs, which is insane, to be honest with you, which is also the one thing that we struggle upon as the Eagles this year. So if you look at the metrics and, like, I really can see like a guy that's never played football before that's looking at this guy's resume and going, like, well, the things that we don't do good at, he tends to be doing good at. Their DVOA was was fifth ranked offense.
Which
DVOA.
means what? Difference.
Very Oh my God.
Well, it just means like how
efficient. Yeah, it's an efficiency rating. It's efficiency rating. What it actually means.
Like Seattle was nasty.
The amount of acronyms that there are in this day and age, everything's an advanced metric nowadays. You can find out how many times they pick their nose.
Exactly, on next gen.
Yeah. Which, by the way, then people did do that during the Super Bowl run. How many times you opened the book? Remember the A.J. Brown thing?
A.J. Brown, how many times he read, which probably was less than he said.
Yeah.
Did he skip to the end?
I
said you read it.
Listen, there were some moments where there was like a bookmark and it was like,
come on, AJ.
But anyway,
better read.
And then they were third in EPA per play. So that's, again, advanced stat nerd metrics and all this good stuff. But like I said, they were top 5 in early down success. And he did a really good job with where he got Jordan Love in footwork and his where his eye discipline was. And I think that was a big reason and why you really can never count Green Bay out in any single game.
Yeah. Couple of things about Mannion, and I'm gonna hit my big points here, and then you're going to really give, your full assertion of him. Here's the thing about Mannion that's exciting is that Matt LaFleur coached Mannion and didn't want Mannion leaving the building. So sometimes the NFL has an underworld, and sometimes I try to discover it too. Like it's like a secret society, so I'll watch coaching interviews. So like Davis Webb out of Cal, for example, was somebody Texas Tech and Cal. I followed him a lot, and I thought he would be a stud in the NFL because of how hard he worked.
Oh yeah,
he would work tirelessly. The way he interviewed and talked as a young player. I'm like, this guy's going to be a coach. It's kind of like Ty Simpson current day. You could tell in these special guys.
Even
so Sean Mannion, exactly. So Sean Mannion, he's kind of like Nick Mullins is in the NFL. Grant Udinski's a brilliant mind. He could be brilliant. And guess what? The Eagles are tremendous at finding these gems, whether it's Christian Parker. Nobody wanted Nick Sirianni. He was the 5th guy hired in that. So I do trust Roseman and Laurie. They know the underground as well as anybody. They are innovative people. This is a Laurie hire, okay? Malik Willis was terrible with the Tennessee Titans. He could not throw the ball. He could barely hold the football out of Liberty and out of that Hugh Freeze offense. The Freeze offense, it froze in college.
Yeah, absolutely.
It froze big. His cell phone might not with who he's dialing up, okay? The point is, he did wonders. He did wonders with Malik Willis. Wonders with Malik Willis. This could be a gem of a hire. I'm choosing to believe in maybe the outside the box thinking. Now, I was wrong on Vic Fangio. I thought that he was washed up in Miami, Denver. He was coming off of some really rough stints. They hit huge on Vic Fangio, the Eagles. I'll tell you what, do you think fans would be more scared to face Mike McCarthy or this hire, Sean Mannion? Sean Mannion could be a whiz kid. He could be the next great offensive coordinator. The thing I probably don't want to see if you're an Eagles fan is Nick Sirianni. This is what I want you to address in your answer too, which is going to be explained coming up. Nick Sirianni could be a play caller with Sean Mannion too. That hasn't been ruled out. So I am more looking at it glass half full. No one could say that this is a slam dunk because he's never called a play. So on the surface, this is a big, big boy risk by the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, this is literally rolling the dice. It's literally the only best way I can describe it. You're playing Lady Luck tonight because if he can replicate the type of success they had. So I'll leave one more statistic. So what we were converting at a 52% chance touchdown rate in the red zone last year. In 2025, Green Bay was at 68% touchdown rate. That's almost over a third of the time they get in the end zone, red zone, they're in the end zone. So that's, if he can recreate that stuff, if he can prove that he is the person that's actually responsible for a lot of that success, because it's a big jump from when he first got Jordan Love to where he is now. And again, what he did with Malik Willis, like there were some talks that people were saying, why rush Jordan back when they thought, we're playing the Bears again.
Well, it's the running game, it's power. But a lot of that is Josh Jacobs. And Saquon is a home run hitter. Josh is one of the most physical runners in the league.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that's a little worrisome is Jacobs is just a stud. Like, they have good personnel out there.
But again, Saquon Barkley, a stud, offensive player of the year, something Jacobs Did he even get it that year?
Probably not.
I don't think
No, the highs of Barkley are better.
Yep, absolutely. And I'm going to leave this on. I am a little bit more optimistic, but I'm like 51%. I'm like literally 51%. So if I had to say if this is a good hire or not, based on everybody else that was available, based on, the people that pretty much didn't want anything to do, and again, it being such a tough spot, I'm going to say that this was a good hire in terms of bringing in something fresh.
Would you say the home run would have been McDaniel? Who was your home run
McDaniel,
candidate?
yeah, for sure. But it takes a lot to want to, like he said, he either wanted to be a head coach or he, for whatever reason, obsessed with.
And this guy beat out Nathan Shieldhouse. He also beat out Frank Smith, who was under McDaniel. So
did he beat out Bob Cooter as well?
Oh, yeah.
I believe so.
He would have fit like a glove.
He would have, absolutely. That's another guy. But again, ultimately, this comes down to what will Nick Sirianni's role be? Because, like you said, I am very worried if this becomes one of those situations where seniority plays in, if things don't go right early on. If they don't, I'm hoping that they will. Obviously, glass half full. But if they don't go right, I'm worried that Nick Sirianni would take over play calling, especially in somebody else's schemes. One of the biggest problems that we had in our 2 years that came up short when we had all the talent was the changing of the offensive play calling and stuff mid-season. We also did it defensively as well in 1 year, and that's just such a killer to have to just throw away everything that this guy's been yelling at you for all day in camp, the little things, the details, like he says, and then now you're just going to change it up again. So as long as this is let him drive the ship, like they said, with the autonomy of the offense, I'd say it's a 51%.
We're going to monitor it. You're listening and watching Spence and Serg. Episode 6, Spence and Serg, coming right back at ya. Just the NFL news has been exciting. And to tell you the truth, Serg, I'm the type of guy, this is going to sound kind of arrogant to start off the show, but I go to work. I do work. And so do you as well, Serg. To tell you the truth, this coaching cycle, I have not been as completely, I followed the news, but I'm not hanging on every word of the news. And maybe that's from being burned by the Joe Judge and the Giants staff and some of these coaches just not working out. So really interesting. Let's talk about the highest profile jobs. We'll talk about Joe Brady first. Joe Brady, Buffalo Bills. Are you buying this hire?
I am not buying this hire, and not just because of his lack of success in Carolina, proving it. Sure, he did a really good job in LSU, but Joe Brady seems to be a guy that if you give him a top-tier in LSU, he had the best quarterback that year, so of course you're going to have success regardless. You also had a stud-full roster. People are calling it one of the best rosters ever assembled in college football, arguably. Is he one of those guys where the talent takes over?
But Steve Ensminger was there and didn't do anything, and you had Cam Cameron and horrible offenses.
That's true. You can do that with almost any single.
Who was on that Matt Rule? Who was he coaching in Carolina? What quarterbacks?
He was coaching Baker
and Sam Darnold.
Yeah, but look at that. That's the thing. Joe Brady couldn't get Baker Mayfield to look like this Baker Mayfield. Kevin Stefanski had Baker Mayfield in the playoffs,
and he did okay.
Yeah, okay.
But Matt Rule hasn't ever had good quarterbacks in college. Jeff Sims was terrible under Matt Rule. Matt Rule is on a cold spell of look at Dylan Raiola, the #1 recruit too. It's a Matt Rule problem. That's my argument.
Maybe.
I think Joe Brady was 32 years old.
But I remember.
So I'm arguing that he was a young buck in the NFL. It didn't go great, but now he learned. And he's had 4 years, and now he's in his prime. At a Pembroke Pines, Florida, William and Mary wide receiver, the same school as Sean McDermott and Mike Tomlin, actually. I'm buying this hire. I like his attitude. I like the swagger.
Yeah, if you want to go that way, like I said, I'm sticking to my gut here. I just don't feel like, because again, going from an offensive play caller, it's one thing to only worry about the offense and be so close to it. You're there every day. And you ever had this before where you have that one assistant you really, really like a lot, right?
Yeah.
It's so much easier to play that role with kids, with Grown men, it's totally different, but it's so much easier to play the role of I know what's best for you when you're the offensive coordinator. Once you become the head coach, you kind of have to conduct yourself a specific way. Yeah. You have to speak more like you are more adamant about things, you're less tolerant of certain things, and you don't really have as much patience, right? First of all, you just watched
and you know who else doesn't have patience?
The owner.
The Bills and their fans. Because you're probably going to be right. What's the only chance that Joe Brady's a really good hire? If what? They have to win the AFC. They have to win the dang thing.
Yeah, they don't just have to win first they have to win their division with now a new possible powerhouse in the New England Patriots.
An old new
possibly.
Team. Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Then you have to win the AFC, something Josh Allen has not been able to do despite his offensive coordinator. Right? And then probably, like, if you're a Bills fan, especially if you're one of those old-time Bills fan, you will probably not turn the TV on again if they lose in that Super Bowl. So you have to also win the Super Bowl.
But Joe Brady, yes.
That's a lot of pressure.
Joe Brady's the best hire I think they could have made.
I don't think so. I think that was literally exactly the same way.
Do you have a guy off the top of your head that you like better?
I mean, if you're telling me do I have Brady as my offensive coordinator, you probably can live with a lot of better head coaching hires. I mean, honestly, if you're asking me,
hear a name.
This goes for every team in the NFL. Get John Gruden. What's wrong with John Gruden? John Gruden's one of the best coaches of all time.
I love
his tree is amazing,
but he can't draft.
I mean, don't let him draft then. Don't you have this amazing GM that got his coach
Brandon Beam?
Yeah, don't you?
Brandon.
I know you do. That's why,
Brandon.
If you're bought in,
Brady, John Gruden with the Raiders, it wasn't perfect. But I know it was a rebuild.
But what's perfect with the Raiders? We're not talking about the Raiders.
Josh Allen. I think Joe Brady. He's been with Sean McDermott. He's been there 4 years, and he'll bring a young, kind of upstart to this team. He could be a great upcoming play caller. You never have to change the system for Josh for 10 years.
I agree with that. I agree with the continuity in that. But again, being a head coach. And this is something to keep an eye on. Being a head coach means you're less inclined to be in that meeting every single time because you've got a million other meetings. You're also dealing with your owners. You're dealing with your GMs. You got so many things.
Less football.
Less
even
football.
At the professional level. College level, it's you just are just eating with roosters.
I mean, that's pretty much what it is. But that's why I think that's just like a lazy, like, whenever you promote from internally, that just shows me that you're afraid of bringing in any competition, or you just don't have an eye.
They brought in old man Rivers.
Was that even a real situation? Like, again,
brought in Davis
guy that's a great high school coach, could probably coach in the NFL at some capacity, but for them to jump right to head coach, I think that we all
on Joe Brady, but I can't wait to go back and look at this. John Harbaugh. Everyone likes the hire. I'm with them. I think it's a good hire for the Giants. What do you think about John Harbaugh?
I think it's a good hire for the Giants, especially since the biggest thing that they need is culture. They need to develop like a whole identity, what they stand for, what type of player they're looking for in the draft, all that good stuff. Are we getting into that situation of like maybe John Harbaugh's best days are behind him? I don't know. Because ultimately, like, you could coach forever. Look at Bill Belichick.
Yes.
Reinventing himself. You know what I mean? So you got a little bit different personnel there. But again, are you going to do better with Jackson Dart than you are going to do with Lamar Jackson? That's a two-time MVP.
But you know what the Giants fans want? They want competency.
Yes, and that's where...
They're not asking to be...
Yeah, and that's why I think it's a good hire.
They're a little neutered in the process.
Yeah, but
they're not asking to be king. They're not going after a supermodel. They're looking at 5.
But they should. They should. I think that everybody should have a higher standard for themselves in a day-to-day life, let alone in the NFL.
Well, he raises the floor, but you have to do in steps.
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I believe that it's a great...
The Giants had to.
Yeah, I believe that it's a great hire for them. I think that they're going to be... I'm kind of actually a little bit worried about the Giants now in the NFC.
Here's the example. The Giants can't go out and take a swing like a Sean Mannion at an important position because guess what? Because they haven't had the success.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, I don't know. Liam Cohen worked in Jacksonville. The last coaching cycles were insane.
Like I said, a Super Bowl winning head coach brings stability, brings again, he's got the answers to the test. It's just a matter of, can he keep reinventing himself? I think that he can. I, as an Eagles fan, am worried about the Giants.
And he's younger. He looks even younger than his brother, and he is actually younger than his brother. Let's talk about Halfley in Miami. How about we'll lump in Halfley and Kevin Stefanski?
Okay.
Anyone pop out to you about these hires? I know I phrased that in a negative way, but...
So I actually love the Stefanski hire for the Atlanta Falcons.
Love with a capital L.
I love it, especially like you can just remember the Stefanski offenses are big run offenses, and they have a hell of a running back. Hook along words, but like Bijan is like different. He is different. Like, and we saw in a game that didn't matter against the Rams, he was explosive. Everybody talked about it when coming out of the draft. No breakaway speed. I think we can put that to bed. But ultimately, like, I just love a Stefanski offense. I don't know why. He doesn't have any lack of creativity. Like, I feel like there's like those third downs. What let him down was quarterback play. It wasn't always like a bad play call. It was bad decision making. It was an inaccurate pass. It was an opportune time to, decide to risk something that maybe it was incomplete. I don't think that Stefanski's lack of success was due to him just not having enough answers in his bag. I thought that it was just mediocre play by his players in the moment. And again, it's a cursed franchise in the Browns, so I think that Atlanta Falcons have a little bit better pedigree. Oh boy. We're going to get into that.
Not accurate?
No.
Too small?
Too small.
Stefanski he's so plain. I liked his offense in Minnesota, so I'm definitely naturally on the other side. Because sometimes some shows think that we stage arguments. Stefanski's so dry. The Browns don't play hard for him, and he failed in Cleveland. I'm not inspired by Kevin or his personality, so I'm not excited about it. That defense was pretty solid, but he hasn't had a good offense or a good run in a while. He's used to losing, and I wanted to see him get animated. So I think it's average as heck. I think they'll be looking for a new coach in a couple of years. I think he's an average coach. Let's see if he's better than that.
That's fair, and I respect your opinion.
A good coach wins that division, right? With the talent that you have with London and maybe Kyle.
Yeah.
Do you think Kirk is going to be that quarterback there?
No, I don't know. Based on everything that I've seen, I think that Kirk's playing days are either coming to an end or already over.
I don't know.
He can
roll for 3 more years.
I mean, could he physically? Probably could. Maybe he will. Maybe somebody will hire him as probably a backup. Maybe there's some teams that need a spot fill quarterback for like a lag year or something like that. I'm not saying that he doesn't have a place in the league. I'm just saying I think that he's getting comfortable in that chair. You know what I mean? Being an analyst.
So guess what?
He's doing a good job.
Jeff Halfley in Miami. I'm going to go first with this one. I'm out on this one. I'm being negative and out. Did you see him at all? Like any pressers?
Awful.
He's like an AI character.
Dry like in the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding. He's dry like a piece of toast. I tried to put jam. No. He don't want jam. Exeno. Dry like a piece of toast. Not just his personality, but do we ever remember a good Packers defense?
No. Not really.
So what are we doing?
When he had Micah Parsons.
Is the problem in Miami that they just don't have a good enough defensive coordinator? No, they have so many problems in Miami. And again, I think I might have mentioned this before. For those of you at home, you might have heard this from me before. But I'm a big proponent on it's just so hard to win in the state of Florida. You just got so much going right for you in terms of weather. There's a reason why people retire down and go down there. People aren't going down there to get ambitious. They're going down there to enjoy their time.
To let go, like Mike did. He has the best PR in the world.
Oh my God.
Halfley. Everyone thinks Halfley is like this, the greatest thing to come from sliced bread.
Who's he been rubbing elbows with? Because
how was Boston College? Was that memorable at all there?
No.
And then you have Micah Parsons.
Thing that he's been memorable about? Okay, so
looking like he's a computer in that robot.
Right.
The GM too. And they use these. You know what the buzzword is? So what's the buzzword? Violence is now a word that's used a lot. Edge. Edge is a coach speak word.
Yeah.
Edge. Mm-hmm. This guy's we're gonna play with edge, we're gonna play violent, we're gonna attack and be multiple.
Yeah, whenever coaches talk like that, you can't even describe what that looks like to your players because that's not the vernacular that you're gonna be using in the meeting. You're gonna be talking about pad level, you're gonna be talking about this. You can't express to a player playing with like this edge. You are supposed to be the one looking for players with that edge.
That
already in them.
competitiveness.
You're not supposed to
Especially
be
at the pro level.
Yeah, exactly. And again, it's Miami. It's not that McDaniels, like, obviously we knew McDaniels, like, from this. Remember the one press conference where like, oh, I thought you guys were going to look bigger. He's just not exactly a serious person. Maybe this guy's a little bit more serious, but it's hard to get back somebody that
they're going to quit on him because he's that style coach that he's that try-hard teacher that actually you might hate. All right, we're going to fire like rock, paper, scissors, all right? On 3, you're going to go either Minter or McCarthy. Who do you like better? 1, 2, 3.
Minter.
I was going to.
Wow. I thought we were about to jinx each other.
Because I'm out on McCarthy.
I'm out on McCarthy. I think
that's the common theme.
I think, again, he's another coach that has had a lot of talent on the rosters that have been around him. There's some people that keep giving him this like weird credit for like comparing him to like winning percentages, all this different stuff. But like, if you're going to sit here and say wins aren't a quarterback stat, how can wins be a head coach stat? I just don't understand how you're
softest hire.
And I think
that hiring Mike Tomlin again.
Again, you saw this guy on the other side of you, and you beat him for a Super Bowl, and you think that he's got the answers to now
well,
right
that
the
was
ship.
prime Mike.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And Minter, I love because that's the McDonald tree. That's a spicy young, up and comer.
The
funny part is about Minter is that he was Mike Tomlin's ball boy at Cincinnati. So I don't think he wanted to go there.
I don't
understand.
Maybe from a personal perspective, but personally, like, what do we know about the Steelers? We know the Steelers have always had a great defense, partly because of Tomlin and the staffs that he's been able to create. Yes. But one thing that I would have loved to have seen from the Steelers was to have beaten the Raiders to that punch. Because the Chargers defense in 2025 was first in DVOA efficiency with 2.8 yards per carry allowed. Like, that's what you know about a Steelers defense. But the Baltimore Ravens, to me, the league's a copycat league, right? When they got Harbaugh at the same time, like they were there together with Tomlin, I thought that the Ravens were trying to build the same identity as the Steelers in terms of win with your defense. Get a flashy quarterback that, like, remember, nobody even thought that they were going to use Lamar when we traded them that pick.
Yeah.
Everybody thought that he was a wide receiver. So kudos to them for making him, like, allowing him to play his true position. Their
franchise is just more modern. Yeah. Their ownership's better. But you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, I would have went with Anthony Campanelli from up there in New Jersey. He's now the Jags DC.
Yes.
He has that nastiness. He's real. I love Camp.
He's a good guy.
And Camp would have like absolutely brought that like
he is, and also he's somebody that's on the short list of guys that are being like nominated for
still interviewing. Still interviewing. I think Clint's probably going to the Raiders. That's going to hurt the Seahawks going forward. Clint Kubiak.
I just don't think that it matters.
All right. That is it. Coaches with Spence Serg. And one of the craziest stories in sports media, not a lot can get you to actually go berserk, but Bill Belichick not being a first ballot Hall of Famer, absolutely wild surge. Absolutely. What do you think about that?
This is the biggest, arguably the biggest talk of, this is now going to overshadow the whole NFL season. If you guys aren't aware, but on February 5th, it'll be official when they're going to announce the Hall of Fame class. Technically, everything as of right now, for those of you at home, you can, if you're on one side of the fence or the other side of the fence, you're both wrong because nobody knows for sure who's actually going to be in the whole class and who's actually going to be like the finalists and then who's going to actually get it. Ultimately, right now, leaks have been coming, like the leak that we just heard right now. Apparently, I don't know who the exact source of the leak is. I think everybody's just saying, like, per sources. It's one of those type of things.
Yeah.
Basically, the whole theory is that Bill Belichick missed it very, very closely. They said something like 40 to 50.
Narrowly.
Narrowly. And through those leaks, we were able to find out that some of the people, which is, again, we'll save our take for the end, but just to put our audience on the same page as us, first time people that are going into this is Drew Brees, You have Larry Fitzgerald, Eli Manning, Luke Kuechly. You have Willie Anderson. For those of you at home that don't know who Willie Anderson is, I know that there's going to be a bunch of people at home that are going to be like, who the hell is Willie Anderson? He's an offensive tackle. Okay, so these are some of the people that Bill Belichick is competing in for. Adam Vinatieri also to be named as well. Torrey Holt is a repeated returnee. Between the three, Torrey Holt, Willie Anderson, and Adam Vinatieri, all three have been up for it before. Didn't get in.
Same with Eli Manning last year.
Yeah. So there's a bunch.
But he's in the coaches category.
Yeah, but the way that they do it, they have like one whole class, and then the coaches are included in the class.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I guess there's like a rule where I think it's like one coach has to get in or something like that, and then the rest are players, but one coach could push out a player. Something along those lines. For those of you guys at home, don't quote me on that, but that's what I got from it based on the past.
It's a strict criteria. The criteria is getting stricter and stricter as we go along.
But is it though? Because I don't even know what the criteria is at this point. just to paint the picture.
Let's go. Let's get into it, man. Let's talk about Bill Belichick here, okay?
Yeah.
How could he not be in the Hall of Fame?
I don't understand.
And I'll take a very controversial stance on this show that I might not say on a lot of shows. Like, there's some people in the Hall of Fame that have did like horrible things off the field. But I'm the type of guy that I don't really like. I care, but for the NFL, I'm all about what you did on the field. So like even that O.J. Simpson sort of thing, I don't want to ever like remove people.
Ultimately, like who you are on the field is not who you are outside of the field. Any athlete that's ever played a sport knows there's also like that whole narrative of like the inner beast at play. Like you are locked in zone, like the Aaron Hernandezes of the world. Right. You know, they have their own issues off the field, but in between those lines, they are a beast. They're good at what they do. You know what I mean? I tend to separate the player from the person, but I guess
it's both. And guess what? If they were productive,
how do you
after your career, like who knows what they're going to turn into? Mm-hmm. But then if you take your kid, right, like Serg, you like if you take your family, you've mentioned your family on this show. Or if I took my future son and he sees O.J. Simpson, I could say, yeah, he murdered somebody, but
boy, could he run that rock. That's really what we're going to say. It sounds messed up to say that,
I would say
that
he was a great football player that just happened to be evil.
Yeah.
After football.
Tax evasion is tough.
But then you're opening up Pandora's box. So then it's like, oh, this guy got a speeding ticket. This guy said something that was very inoffensive. Then they're taking, things off of the Wall of Fame. Yeah. I don't like that. Once you're in, you're kind of in. So Bill Belichick, though, that's what's crazy. So the theories are he did probably piss people off. That's his personality, Bill Belichick, during this process.
Ultimately, I guess I really am struggling internally to figure out what it could have been that could have kept him out, because there's a very famous documentary. I don't know if you guys famous in the sports world. I bet people at home have never seen this. It's called 4 Games in the Fall. It's about the whole Deflategate suspension.
Okay.
And then there's been countless of ESPN stories about like the whole Spygate thing. But ultimately, like, who am I listening to here? With a lot of these stories, you're listening to storytellers. You're not listening to people recounting history, because if you recount history, even Spygate, and this is going to be very controversial because I'm not going to lie, when the Eagles lost that Super Bowl, I was pretty upset when all that stuff started coming out later on about like the Spygate stuff. I was like, he cheated us out of the Super Bowl. Right. But I was just coping. Like I was a kid. You know what I mean? It's so long ago, 2004. I was like 10, 11 years old.
McNabb.
Yeah, and ultimately
Jacksonville throwing up.
Yeah, and ultimately maturing is realizing that your quarterback wasn't in shape. Basically, that's really what it came down to.
The point is, and he even won Super Bowls past that one. Like he shut down McVay, right? When Tom Brady, I know he had a great game against the Chiefs. Guy won 2 Super Bowls with the Giants. The Giants didn't hire him, and they went on a tailspin because they didn't hire him. The Patriots were nothing before Bill Belichick. And the guy, I know that he was a grouchy coach. The players still love Bill Belichick. Even Tom Brady, everybody's coming out and saying that they love Bill Belichick. So it's asinine. I don't like a couple of things about the Hall of Fame, okay? One, the thing that really irked me incredibly about the Hall of Fame was Roger Goodell made one of the most to me it was tone deaf, and I hated this. You might call this a little kind of problem that kind of got me triggered, but he put in a rule that each Hall of Fame speaker could only have 5 minutes to speak.
I hate that.
because of TV ads, and they thought the crowd or the people viewing would get bored. F that. This is the greatest moment of your freaking life. If Brett Favre wants to talk for 2 hours bumbling, do it, all because of a TV ad. So then I'm like, F that.
Yeah.
That's what I hated. The Shador and the Pro Bowl thing is funny. That gets thrown at the Hall of Fame. I'm less triggered by that. I think the Pro Bowl is a freaking carnival show. It's a flag football game. I don't really care.
In the grand scheme of things, the Shador thing isn't that big of a deal. But at the same time, the whole voting everything's so ambiguous. You have to search through multiple different forums online, or you got to find a subscription to this magazine or that magazine to find out who even the voters are.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the biggest spearhead voters for this whole Belichick thing, also same exact guy that was blackballing Terrell Owens. I don't know how many people know this.
Bill Polian?
Bill Polian, yeah. Bill Polian, who is a career loser. This guy hasn't won jack crap. The only time he ever was successful in a Super Bowl is when he had a Hall of Fame generational talent like Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
So for him to sit there and just he was in the same division as Bill Belichick all those years, and you're going to deny his greatness?
49
and then you're going to come
40,
out,
and then he called Deflategate when they lost by 40.
And then you're going to come out with an article when interviewed about your vote. Oh, I don't remember if I voted for him or not. What do you don't remember? You don't remember who you voted for in the most important vote every single year? For your only job, basically, is in the committee is to vote. You talk about it all year. Hey, these guys are coming up. It's their years. Every year, this is always a thing with the Hall of Fame recently. I don't know why.
The TO thing is right.
I think it started probably before the TO thing, but the TO
I don't
thing
agree.
Really left it.
I'm going to say I'm going to vote for Terrell Owens. Okay?
I would, yeah.
But there is a but here. He did destroy certain locker rooms when he played.
But does that have anything to do with his play?
So that's a little off the field. With his play, a little bit, because he's destroying offenses. I still would have voted for him.
Listen.
But that's more of a point than Bill, who did nothing wrong.
No, I mean,
it would almost be like an A.J. Brown case, or even Stephon Diggs, or even Antonio Brown. By the way, Antonio Brown's a Hall of Famer.
I think he's,
but I don't know if he's going to be a first ballot.
I don't know if he'll be a first ballot because, again, it sounds like you got to paint a narrative for the guys that you want in the Hall of Fame.
T.O. should have been. T.O. should have been.
Yeah, absolutely. So, for example, if you're going to ever put in Larry Fitzgerald, or you're going to ever put
Larry Fitz is the most first ballot person.
Right. But would you
on and off the field?
Would you or would you not say T.O. is a better player than Larry Fitzgerald?
T.O. is a better
Absolutely.
player.
So if T.O. doesn't
not
get
by
first
much,
ballot...
though. Larry Fitz might be top 7 ever play.
Yeah,
he played with horrible quarterbacks.
That's true, but T.O. is third all time in receiving yards. You can't deny.
He's much freakier than Larry.
Much freakier. And then put it this way: if you set a precedent like this,
not much. Larry Fitz is so good, though.
Yeah, he's very good.
Fitz incredible.
I think Larry Fitz is really, really good.
He's like Mike. I think Mike Evans is in that top 10. Of
all time.
Yeah.
I don't know
about that.
Because if we want to talk about the off the field stuff, look at the on the field stuff. The shameless going after that 1,000-yard, just getting fed the ball. And then we spent 2 years watching Mike. Will Mike Evans continue his streak? Oh, he lives to die another day. Same thing last year. Will he get this streak? Lives to die another day.
So what do you think of the Hall of Fame? Is it too? We obviously disagree about Bill, but do you think it's too strict? The problem is too is that some of these voters are like, I want to get these old these old guys in before they expire their time.
I ultimately
Like Ken
think that,
Anderson and these guys.
Yeah, I ultimately think that this is gonna be so damning, if it wasn't already, for all the other players that were snubbed, the TOs, the Chad Ochocinco's, like all the different people that were being delayed because of a stupid reason why you want to just, like, it's not that they're not going to get in, right? Like, I don't think there's anybody in the world that's going to
Bill's still going to get in.
That's the problem that I have with me is
Eli Manning, and I can even admit this as the biggest Giants fan, he is a fringe Hall of Famer that's probably going to get in.
Probably going to get in. Ultimately, a lot of these guys,
some of these dudes are shoo-ins.
Right. Ultimately, a lot of these guys will probably get in at some point, but there's something to be said about being a first ballot, and I think that they just wanted to deny Bill Belichick that first ballot thing for all of the reasons that they make up. Because again, none of that has anything to do with
Let's talk about the rest of these guys. As much as this might even be a compliment to Jason Witten. I think that I think you probably hated Jason Witten the most. Like he's up there in terms of.
I hated him, but he was a great player.
Because he's so damn good. He's a first ballot guy, Jason Witten, to me. Consistent.
That's a tough one.
He's not a shoo-in?
I don't think first ballot, only because Shannon Sharps, the world, all of the
Witten.
Tony Gonzalez. There's so many
Kelsey,
tight ends that have been much better than him even since he's been gone, let alone, like, he had all the offenses in the world back when he was there. He had what people call a great quarterback in Tony Romo. Where he stacks in all of this, again, another question mark.
Do you think Gore or Kuechly is high?
I think that again, based on this, I have a hard time now with this Bill Belichick thing. I can't find anybody that's
who qualify?
Who could qualify? If the third all-time winning
I will
head
admit
coach,
Kuechly didn't play a long time, and I know it's because of concussions. I like Frank Gore. I love how he played such a long time. I like longevity.
I mean, Frank Gore was the epitome of just consistency.
I love it.
Absolutely.
Like Terrell Davis is in the Hall of Fame.
And
I met Terrell Davis.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. He's friends with my uncle, Terrell Davis. He's friends with my family.
Short prime.
Yeah, exactly. Where Frank Gore is an Iron Man.
Iron Man.
So the Hall of Fame,
Eagles legend.
By the way, like there's protests going on for football or anything in general. I think that there should be a protest actually in Cannes.
Yeah,
for Bill Belichick.
I really think,
for real.
If there's one guy that you lay down
protest.
and you all fight for, it's Bill Belichick. He is third all-time winningest. He's the all-time winningest in playoffs. He has 8 total Super Bowls, 6 as a head coach. That's more than some franchises.
This is Eagles and Giants fans talking.
Yeah. I'm an Eagles fan. Yeah. I lost a Super Bowl against them, won a Super Bowl against them.
Beat Bill Belichick and hated the Patriots.
And the reason why it was so great, why we beat them, wasn't just that we had a backup quarterback. It was that we denied probably the greatest quarterback performance of all time, that ring.
500 yards.
506,
two GOATs. Probably the 2 best to ever do it on one team.
Vrabel. You had all the guys that were that played the biggest role in the successes for Belichick are guys that they were overlooked. They were guys that,
Oh, the players.
All of them, yeah. Vrabel, when he was coming out.
The coaches, ironically, and we could talk about Bill for another hour.
Yeah, they're mixed.
This almost makes Bill more special. It's almost like Saban.
Yeah.
Patricia.
Failed by himself.
The guy on the
Josh
Jets.
McDaniels,
The guy McDaniels
failed by himself as a head
Matty
coach.
Patricia. Well, Cornell, not very good. Who was the guy who's on? Who's the Cleveland Browns and the Jets? Like Cementi or something? Oh man, I forgot the coordinator's name. Mangini.
Oh my God,
Eric.
You said Jets. You should have also mentioned Giants because he was on that staff with them as well.
Okay, on the Giants. Okay, but that's it about Hall of Fame. Total joke. We'll be protesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody should be having a pitchfork. It's an absolute shame.
Pitchforks. Let's go. Spence and Serg. Back at it, episode 6, the final segment of the Spence and Serg show. And we're talking about the journeys of these 2 Super Bowl teams, and pretty wild, especially in the AFC. We'll start off with that. The New England Patriots are back in the Super Bowl, and this is really a surprise to me on multiple fronts, but I can let Serg elaborate first. we're going to talk about the Patriots. I mean, this season, did you see it coming at all? How surprised are you? How did they get here, the New England Patriots?
I'm so surprised. I'm very, very surprised, mainly because, again, the whole talk was the stability in New England since Belichick left. They haven't been able to replicate the type of success that they've had once Belichick left. And then you have Vrabel, who leaves Tennessee after mixed bag of results. It started down, like what everybody was calling the downfall of Vrabel.
Yeah.
Wasn't getting the best looks in the coaching cycle last year. And then now taking over the reins as the next Bill Belichick, people might say later on down the road. But first year head coach, first say in terms of in New England, nobody thought that they were going to be a good team. I mean, heck, the books had New England at, like, some had them at plus 8,000. That's a ridiculous odd.
Wow.
Yeah, they were long shots, long shots. On top of that, you have a second-year quarterback. You're not exactly looking too confident in, like, can he take that big jump? Can he become up there with, like, what everybody praises the Mahomes of the world, the Jalen Hurts? There's only been a handful of quarterbacks that have been winning these Super Bowls. It's no secret. Like,
yeah,
it's
or
been
getting there.
Yeah, or even getting there. Yeah, that's the thing. We've been seeing the same Super Bowls.
Jalen Hurts,
Eagles,
it's Mahomes,
Chiefs,
it's Brock
49ers,
Purdy
Chiefs.
coming within a couple of throws.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Burrow was there, or Matt Stafford.
Yeah, you had Garoppolo one year. You had Goff one year. Like, it was just a big mixed bag of, like, probably like the same teams. The Rams made it twice. The Eagles made it twice. The Patriots before that had the solid, steady quarterback, but haven't even been playoff
But
relevant.
in the AFC, it's been a big three. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, the Buffalo Bills, and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
A big three.
Mm-hmm. With that one flash year.
And I'm stunned, and I was dead wrong. As right as I was on Seattle, I was dead wrong about the Patriots, and I'll tell you why. It's because Mike Vrabel, I thought he was overrated. Coming from Tennessee, I didn't love the tail end. Even the Mariota era didn't really work. I mean, Tannehill and Derrick Henry, they had that tremendous year where they ran the football, and he was solid in Tennessee. He was okay, but I thought he would be like Mike McCarthy, have decent defense, okay, and then the team would be okay. I didn't think that they'd beat the Bills and win that division this year. Drake May, I was not a fan of coming out of college. I thought that he had a weaker arm.
I was not a fan of him.
Weaker arm, fidgety.
Still not the biggest fan.
Very fidgety quarterback. And in the playoffs, you saw that. But during the regular season, he did escape. He did make big boy throws. He would be accurate. Stephon Diggs, let's look at the receiving core of the dang Patriots. It's Stephon Diggs, who's 31, who you could have gotten for anything for a bag of chips and a Snicker bar.
They got the Mario Douglas. They got
even Stephon Diggs had the boat incident during the summer. Mac Hollins,
Hunter Henry, who everybody was writing off.
Oh, Hunter Henry's old as well. These are not great weapons.
No,
not great fantasy weapons. You're not drafting. Yeah. You're Travion Henderson, who's a special player, but these are not great weapons, and that is actually a credit to Drake May and this team. Defensively, they are freaking legit. Are they legit as heck defensively?
Yeah, they are. I mean, they got Christian Gonzalez, they got Hawkins, they got
Will.
Yeah, they have Mill Williams, Super Bowl champion Mill Williams. Yeah. Put some respect on that name. They have a lot of small pieces. Barmore. They got Spillane.
I thought he's slower.
I think he got hurt last game.
I'm like, Carlton Davis and Spillane. It's just a bunch of free agents. I'm like, this could be a wild card team. In no way did I thought that they would go to the Super Bowl.
No, absolutely not. But let's take a look at how they got there, right? Ooh. The biggest talk all year about the Patriots, which, again, could possibly still come into play here. We don't know because of their path. Their path has been not exactly the most spectacular. It doesn't give you the best confidence. Like, usually they say, like, whenever you're in a tough situation, you revert back to, like, what you know. Well, what they know is beating up on crappy teams and having a hard time with those, like, good upper echelon teams. Sure, they find ways to win these games. Like that Denver game, I don't think anybody took any confidence from that AFC Championship game and thought, the Pats, just like we thought, baby. Like, I can't, if I was a Pats fan, I would be very nervous the way we won that last game. But again, You have there's always like these
But you're
like
going to the
excuses.
Super Bowl.
That's true. So you have some reason to be elated, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't know if again, all the same reasons why nobody picked New England, will these things start finally rearing their head in the biggest game of the year? It's two brand new coaches that are relatively brand new. I mean, it's Vrabel's first year, McDonald's second year, but still same thing. Like, we don't know what's going to happen, and I think that that's what makes the Super Bowl the most exciting.
And it's very interesting. So the Patriots, I would have maybe picked Kansas City. I would have maybe picked Buffalo before the year in the AFC as it's their time.
Before the playoffs, I think both of us had Buffalo.
Or Baltimore.
Yeah, or Baltimore.
I actually did in the playoffs. When the Patriots were this good, I actually picked them. Because at home, they were so good. They beat the Chargers, and it was a wide-open AFC.
Once they got past,
And then C.J. Stroud, we were talking about that defense, and they really got after C.J. Stroud.
But also, C.J. Stroud just happened to have, like, arguably the worst performance.
But let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks, and it's a team, I mean, not to toot my own horn, but I picked them. I picked Seattle.
Did.
And you know why I picked Seattle?
Flowers for that.
That defense is nasty. And if the Eagles aren't going to take the mantle of the NFC, it's a wide-open NFC. The Washington Redskins made the NFC Championship. The Lions, right? Isn't it wide? It's more of a wide-open conference in the AFC. I thought Seattle, with their personnel, could hit it out of the park.
If you look back, I saw a graphic today. Since 2015, it's been the Chiefs, the Patriots, and the Bengals the one year that they made the Super Bowl. Other than that, it's been those three teams
in the AFC
that have made the Super Bowl every single year.
The Bills haven't made it. The Ravens, right?
The Ravens haven't made it. Nobody's made it. It's been those same three teams. It's actually pretty stunning. Whereas in the NFC, you've had...
And the Titans were like the most surprised
right,
team
remember
that
the year that they were number one seed?
With Vrabel.
Yep.
No, well, they beat the Ravens on the road and then went to Kansas City and got their ass beat.
Got that ass
But it's always Chiefs and Bills.
It literally is. It's been non-contest basically in the AFC. It's kind of been like whoever you pencil in of the top three teams that have been making it every year, your chances are one of them is going to make it.
Mahomes.
NFC, you've had the Rams make it twice. You've had the Eagles make it twice. Now you've had Seattle make it one time. You've had a whole bunch of different NFC champions that have made it to the Super Bowl.
Kind of.
It's not
the Rams.
It's not been the
Tampa Bay
prettiest.
Buccaneers.
Yeah, Tampa Bay made it one year too. It's not been the prettiest.
The Eagles a lot.
Yeah, well, not a lot. I'd say
three times in the past 8 years.
Yeah.
So the Seahawks are a really good franchise. I think Mike Mack, if he wins the Super Bowl, he could be one of the great defensive minds that we've ever seen. Sam Darnold, here's a hot take. He's going to be up there, not right now, but he could end up having a better career than Josh Allen. He could be the best quarterback in that draft class. He has to win 3 Super Bowls to do so.
Well, he's got to win an MVP at some point.
I believe he has a good chance of winning this one, but if he wins 3 Super Bowls, he is a Hall of Famer.
I mean, I don't know anymore. I don't know.
The Hall of Famer.
Who knows?
But you have to admit, Sam Darnold surprised you, right?
Oh, absolutely. Again, like I said, I was saying this before we started the show. Was it that big of a surprise considering Sam Darnold has been in this spot before the playoffs began, where you've got, a league-leading offense, a league-leading team based on how you played up until that point. But the story around Sam Darnold was always in big moments or when he was under pressure, that whole famous seeing ghosts clip that he had in New Jersey. They were in New Jersey.
Yeah.
They might as well be the New Jersey Jets. The story was still unwritten about, nobody knew how Sam Darnold would do this year, but the difference was, he's not in New York anymore. He's not in Minnesota, which is
a different
notorious
quarterback
for choking.
He is a good quarterback because he's shown that he has the talent. In New York, I didn't see talent. I saw a guy who's fidgety, who had a weak arm.
Yeah, I didn't see any confidence in him. And I think that that's also the biggest thing, is that he had one good year. It got spoiled, but I think that he had that, I belong again type feeling when he took the chance of, let me not go back to this team because I can make more money. Let me go to a team that really wants me, is coming after me, right? Seattle went from a really, really bad situation with Carroll, Geno Smith, all that good stuff.
Pretty bad, yeah.
Now, being at the forefront of the NFC, being possibly, people are talking about they could do this again.
Yeah.
They got a young defense.
Think they could.
They got young stars on offense.
Sign it up.
They definitely have that
Geno
potential.
Smith's a little like the Squidward meme.
Yeah.
peering over.
Just watching them have fun.
Watching
basically.
them do it.
Yeah, basically. But ultimately, the thing that drove Sam Darnold was not making the mistakes that Geno Smith was making.
But guess what? Minnesota, they didn't have the infrastructure that Sam has in Seattle.
Yeah, no.
So I knew Sam was a really good quarterback, but it's also mostly about Mike McDonald. It's about Clint Kubiak. If Kubiak leaves for the Raiders, that sucks. If I'm Clint Kubiak, you could stay there 4 years and compete for Super Bowls every single year. I don't know why everybody's trying to jump. You also have Smith and Jigba. Like, this guy is a really good receiver. I couldn't see him being the dang best receiver, one of the best receivers.
I'm not going to lie. I actually owe one of my buddies a really big apology. I made fun of him for taking Jackson Smith, knowing Cooper Kupp was just coming over there. I mean, I get it. He's getting old and all that stuff, but like, I still, like, I believe in Cooper Kupp the way that everybody should believe in him now. Like, the way that they used him to that second half of the season.
Well,
he's a Super Bowl MVP.
You know what I love is, like, in the MLB playoffs and, like, the playoffs, the guys that have been there, like, rise.
Yeah.
When the moments get so nervous.
I love it.
And in any sport, when it's so tense,
You
right?
saw it, Devontae Adams with that catch for the Rams.
You see the great ones showing up.
Yep.
It almost was like the NBA All-Star game in the Elam ending. Like, you really see who's the true alpha.
Yeah.
And Cooper Kupp all year, like, he's a little slower. He isn't the same guy. He's 60% of what he has been. But in those moments, those first downs, man.
Third and Cup. That's what they're saying.
Those first downs. This is a fun Super Bowl. You have it, the Malcolm Butler game. I think it'll be fairly rated. The Patriots, ironically, now are a little Cinderella-ish because a lot of people are complaining about that style.
Yeah.
The Seahawks are a favorite. Like you said, they didn't look that impressive on offense. 90 yards thrown, Drake May.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy about football sometimes.
Yeah, any given Sunday.
And by the way, like, Aaron Rodgers got to a Super Bowl and we're like, he's going to be back. And Drake May and Peyton Manning, like, sometimes if you have a great defense, you can, like, ride the thing all the way through. Like, Peyton Manning was a great quarterback in the early 2000s. When he had no arm left in Denver, that's when he won the thing.
There is something to be said about just making it to the Super Bowl all in all, because again, like we just talked about, the lack of parity in one division, lack of big names in the other side of the
and it's 2 weeks of lead up. So when the Eagles are playing the Chiefs, 2 weeks of lead up, and your team gets all the the notoriety.
This is two Cinderellas playing against each other. You had the Seahawks at plus 6,000. You had the Pats at plus 8,000 at preseason. So both of these teams, big surprises to make it to the Super Bowl, but those football junkies, you knew they had good leadership, they had good coaching. I actually, not gonna lie, I was kind of puzzled by how many different chances Josh McDaniels has gotten at a big time role, whether it be an offensive coordinator job or a head coaching job. It honestly blows my mind how that guy keeps getting hired, but he keeps proving it whenever given the right system or the right people. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's almost like that guy can't do well outside of the Boston area. They might have to like give him like a lifetime contract. I don't know.
Or just lock him in the state.
Yeah, give him like a felony so he can't get out.
All right, guys. Great episode. Spence Serg.